Hi everyone, welcome back to Total War Therapy, and today after 100 hours of playing the Tides of Torment DLC, I'm not sure if I should be proud, I will tell you which units are worthy to recruit and which units in my very personal experience are not. A little disclaimer, of course the purpose of the video is to split the new additions between the units that I'm fully satisfied with and the units that probably I'm just not using correctly, so please don't be mad at me if you disagree with my choice. Hi, I'm Alberto, I'm a real person, and here you will find the beginner's guide, the battle unit roster, tier list, ranking, and many shorts, so if you wanna support the channel, please consider to subscribe. Let's start with the Slangers. I have to say that my expectations for them were a little low, because when I spot them with the dual weapons, I thought they could be just a redundant version of the Demonette, so another shock melee infantry with a lot of weapon strength and charge bonus, and it was even weird because we were already getting the Dark Elves, the devotees of Slaanesh, sorry, they're a little similar with dual weapons, so with the anti-infantry bonus, so why putting two units that serve the same purpose? But I understood that they are deeply different. First, I should let you know that in my Decala campaign I stopped recruiting the Demonettes because for me the Slangers were really good at the same job, and they were cheaper, they got more armor, so they were more resilient, and they're still with all the Slaanesh attributes, so the immunity to psychology, so it's hard, you know, to scare them, and then they get plenty of weapon strength, charge bonus with anti-infantry damage, so they are perfect to deal against other melee infantry. That's why I just filled my armies with them, and they are even in a high number of 120. So for me it's a very big yes for them. The devotees of Slaanesh. Now, there are mid-tier infantry that you can recruit with a special building that are a good compromise between the Demonettes and the Warriors of Chaos, because they sacrifice a little of armor, a lot of armor, and the shield compared to the Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh, but at the same time they get the charge bonus and the weapon strength of the, not armor piercing but anti-infantry of the Demonette. So you can just replace your front line or your melee infantry in the mid campaign with them, especially in an army with an anointed Druki that can boost their stats a little bit. I didn't recruit a lot of them in my campaign, but I was always satisfied with their job, so for me it's a yes. The devotees of Slaanesh with the crossbows are currently one of the best units of this roster, in my opinion. They don't sacrifice the melee stats compared to the melee version, so you can still engage them in melee and get great results from them, but they also get this additional range weapon that is a crossbow with armor piercing damage and a decent range. I would have expected something, I would have wanted at least something a little more, but it's okay, it's still a Chaos faction. And yeah, that it's very good to tear down, dwarves, helicopters, flying monsters, and just to shoot over the melee front line of your enemy. They are great at everything, and as I said, when they engage in melee, they are they're definitely better than many other melee infantry in this same roster. That's why they're just a win-win, and you can definitely just create an army with only them, and you will see. You will see. They're just perfect at what they do, and they have also a missile resistance. That this for a missile unit, it's great. Okay, because they will be more protected from missile attack. So yeah, definitely a big yes. The Pleasure Seekers are definitely one of the most overpowered units of this game, and I think they may be the best cavalry, even better than the Rot Knights. They have this kind of regeneration when the enemies nearby are wavering or routing, and then they have this charge that is multiplied for 100 of speed with all the melee attack, weapon strength with armor piercing damage, and the effect is that they just clean the area. Okay, think about a brush and the enemy is just the dust. you will pass with them and the enemy will disappear, will vanish, and you don't know how it's possible. And especially if they charge from the back or from the flank, because they have the devastating flanker, the enemy in just a few seconds will disappear. It's lovely, it's dangerous, because I tried them even with some even charging at the front of some anti-large units with the charge reflection, charge defense. They still devastate them. Okay, this is crazy. I mean, this is too much. They would probably rebalance the thing, so for now I'm just having fun. But yeah, if they remain in this way, they are the biggest yes ever, I would say, in this video. The champions of Slaanesh are not that different compared to the pleasure seekers. They work in the same way, even if they are monstrous infantry. They are large, they are fast, they are fewer entities, but they, like the pleasure seekers, they tear apart all the other enemies, and they're very agile. Okay, since they are not in a big number, you can easily just sneak around the enemy and, you know, attack at the back of the unit that you want to prioritize. They have the devastating flanker, still the magical damage, the shield, because I mean, apparently with all these arms they can deflect some arrows. So yeah, overall they are perfect at what they do. They can be boosted a little by the Kala, but even without that, they destroy everything. They're a little expensive, and but I mean, honestly, I never had problem with them in my campaign. I mean, I was never in the position that I was about to lose them, that they were losing too much health. And this is weird. I mean, they can really like dodge all the blows of the enemy army, and wow, just wow. I think that Slaanesh, even if probably it's the less shining roster with just one single entity monster, but believe me, about the quality of these additions, it's the best. The Praeton. Now, I don't know if it's me that I'm not using it correctly, but in every situation that I tested it, he just didn't prove to be great enough. I mean, especially for this price of that is the same of a Moon Dragon, just to say an example, that is more expensive than a Chaos Frost Dragon. So you expect great things from it, but it doesn't work. Okay, even in the video that you are watching, is fighting against a fleet of plague drones of Nargol, and he's losing the fight. Okay, and he's an anti-large monster, so he's supposed to, you know, to eat for breakfast the plague drones of Nargol. Instead, it's the contrary. And then against a bunch of infantry is not that great. He has a couple of abilities that I mean, they're supposed to be okay, but at the end, I mean, like this augment that increases the melee damage reflection but reduces the melee defense. So why? I mean, what's happening here? How I'm supposed to use it if it loses the fight against all the other monsters, against even, you know, other kind of cavalry, elite cavalry, of course. So I mean, I just think probably it should be reworked. So for me, I'm sorry to say it, but it's a no. Let's start with the Ship's Company, that is this new early game frontline introduced for the High Elves, to replace, for example, the Spearmen, that, I mean, so far was the only early game frontline that you could use to build, you know, a defensive structure of your army formation. Now, they sacrifice, of course, all the anti-large attributes, so the anti-large bonus, the charge defense, the charge reflection, to get these more offensive stats, and this aquatic attribute that basically makes them perform better when they are in a water area. That, I mean, there are not many maps with the water, so I don't know if it's that useful, honestly. Now, in my campaign, I recruited a lot of them because they are aesthetically very nice. First, they are cheap, and then they quite, you know, they match my naval themes armies. But at the end, I think that the spearmen are just far superior. Okay, if I have to make a comparison, all these anti-large attributes makes the spearmen this bulwark of spears and shields that can protect you from everything, even in the late campaign, while the Ship's Company is very weak weak, they get scared, they start to you know, to rout very easily. And yeah, even if you have to deal with the hordes of melee infantry, at the end you don't expect this kind of very early tier, very low tier melee infantry to deal damage. So the spearmen, just to defend the line and use other units to deal the damage, are definitely better. That's why for me I'm not to recruit. The Northern Skycutter. Now first I would like to say that this is one of the most beautiful units in this game, and I'm so pleased that we finally got them. I recruit a lot of them in my campaigns to have some you know, air support, and just because they are funny to watch and I like them. But if I have to make a judgment, a reasonable judgment about their presence in my battlefield, I don't think they are worth it. They are very expensive. They are more expensive than a normal chariot, but less expensive than the Lions one. So yes, but at the end they are, I mean, I don't know what is their main purpose. I mean, if you want a flying unit, is better an eagle because it's faster, he can deal more damage. If you want a missile infantry, it's better, you know, just a unit of archers that deals, you know, 5 times their damage. So there's something in the middle. Okay, if you want some support for the sieges and they can disrupt some formation, they are flying, so you know, they can reach areas that with the other chariots will not be easy to access. But at the end, at that point, you just need an eagle, okay? And if you want to some missile support, is better a missile infantry. So even if I like them very much, believe me, I think they are in a very great zone, but for me is more not to recruit, even if I recruit them a lot, okay? So don't hate me. The version of the Northern Skycutter with the bolt thrower is completely different. In this case, we have the ultimate mobile artillery, not only for this roster, but I think one of the best in the entire game. I always appreciated the work of the Eagle Claw bolt throwers, even if there are many people that dislike it. But I think that is great with these 2 mods, one against one, I mean, most suitable for the infantry, another for the monsters and the cavalry. And at the end, with this mobile artillery, even if you sacrifice a little of range, believe me, it's just crazy. I mean, that deals plenty of damage, and with this mobility, you don't have to worry about the position in the siege battles. They are very useful, and then you can still use them to charge some enemies in the end game. You know, if you want to disrupt the formation of some missile infantry of the enemy to attack some artillery, they're a little, I mean, of course, against these weak units, they are quite resilient. And yes, I love, I mean, they're perfect, they're just perfect, and I think that every army of the High Elves should get at least one of them. So for me, a big yes. The Oceanids are another tough choice because I'm not sure what they are actually good at. I will explain you better. I mean, in theory, they are supposed to be this very defensive unit that is meant to absorb all the damage of the units charging and so on. They have perfect vigor, so you know, they are quite versatile, the strider, some physical resistance, and even if they have no armor, missile resistance, and they cause fear, even if it's water. I mean, why you should be scared by water? And yeah, so they're supposed to absorb damage, but I can tell you that against many melee infantry of a very low tier, they were losing the fight. So if you're supposed to absorb the damage, how is possible that you lose the fight in the short term? Okay, not in a long battle. And then they are not even damage dealers because they don't have the armor piercing damage that for a monstrous infantry it's weird, even if they are made of water, of course. They get the anti-infantry, so they are good against the hordes of Skavens. But still, I mean, if they get surrounded by a horde of Skavens, given that they have no armor and the physical resistance that doesn't compensate that much, they will still lose. So they're good support. Okay, you can use them as I mean, they're aesthetically good, that yes, and they have a very funny animation of this charging with waves. But at the end, believe me, both as a damage dealers or as a damage absorbers, they have some weaknesses, so I have to test them more. But for me now, it's no. The situation is very different for the Sea Elemental. That is probably one of my top 3 favorite units in this roster. I think you should buy the DLC only for that, because it's crazy. Believe it's the only monster that I would stay hours just looking at the animation, because it's so soft, it's so gentle, it's perfect to watch. Is this big monster? In this case, it's not only a damage absorber, so a very defensive unit, but it's also a damage dealer. Okay, against bunches of infantry, it can destroy them, and it can break very easily their formation, because its animations are quite quite powerful. It just moves around for of a very long distance, so it's very easy to reach every area and to to address a big part of the enemy army. And then still there is the perfect vigor, the strider, the missile resistance that is good for a beast that is definitely a very easy target. And then yes, I mean it's just perfect at what it does. It's lovely, and even if it's expensive, believe me, it's a good choice. So for me, it's the biggest yes. The Mervim. Now, I'm a little scared because I don't want anyone in the comments to devour me like it happened in other videos. But for me, this is not a good option to recruit, and I will explain you in details why. First, the price is immense. I mean, with the same price you can take, I think, 5 or 4 units of Lothern Sea Guard that will tear apart this beast. So why should you prefer it? Maybe because you want a big monster that hunt down cavalries and other monsters. Yeah, it's definitely great at that, but it's very slow, and if the enemy army is with hard difficulty setting, believe me, all the other monsters will just try to escape it, so it will be very hard to to reach the point where you hit this target. And then yeah, I mean, very slow. It got the regeneration, but if it got surrounded by some melee infantry with the anti-large attributes, his health will go down with very, very fast. Okay, I didn't expect that the first time that I use it for this price, and with all this health you expect it to be far more resilient, but at the end it's not. Okay, and of course I may be wrong. Okay, I can change my mind over time, but for now I use it in many battles, and as I say, for the same price. Of course, I mean, if you give me a Lamborghini for free, I'm happy to use it. But if I think that with the same price of a Lamborghini I can buy a house, maybe I would prefer the house. So it's the same. It's an immense, wonderful unit, but for this price I would prefer 5 units of Lothern Sea Guard. Let's start with the Marauder Beerman, that is this new melee infantry in the middle between the normal Marauders and the champions. That for me is the perfect choice, because they are easy to recruit. You still need just 1/3, and the champions need 2, and you can boost them of course with Beerstruck. Then they get the immunity to psychology. That is great, because if you want a stubborn melee infantry that doesn't get scared in the presence of monsters, they are perfect. And then with the rage augmented, their stats will increase with the time spent in melee. And I mean, let's be honest, aesthetically they are far better than any other Marauders in this game, and this is for me the biggest reason why you should recruit many of them, because I mean, this is the look, the outfit that I expect a Norse warrior to have. So yeah, they're definitely very good. And then there are 2 versions, of course, the one with shield and the one with great weapons if you need to address units with armor. From this moment on, I recruit only them, and just in the very late campaign I started to recruit the champions Marauders, because they are very good at what they do, and yeah, I'm perfect like that. For me, they are a big yes. The Kargan Horsemen, I'm scared again of your possible reaction, but for me they are not that great. The first thing that is important to say is that they are not an elite cavalry. I mean, they're quite cheap. I mean, they're the same price of the of the Marauders Horsemen with the missile weapons. I mean, it's not that different, and against most of the other cavalry in the game, they will lose the fight. So why you're getting a melee infantry if you will lose the fight against all the other infantry. If you wanted to just charge the missile infantry of the enemy, the artillery pieces, you can just use the Marauder horsemen that they have in addition the missile attack. Why recruit them? I mean, I tried it, believe me, in many situations, even with all the boosters of Sail, the Fatalist, but at the end, I mean, they are not okay. Okay, yeah, okay, they have the devastating flankers, the frenzy, but overall they do, you use them to do the same job of the Marauder horsemen, because they cannot do the job of a more elite cavalry. So yeah, for me, just a no. I still recruit them. Sometimes they are funny, and I mean, aesthetically they are very good at that. As you may have understood from this video, it's an important factor for me. But yeah, I mean, about the usage, probably no, not that much. So for me, it's more a no than a yes. But I recruit them. Please don't eat me. The Dread Mo. Now, the first time that I used this unit, my reaction was the same of the Goblin Ewer. That was like, I mean, what is this stuff? I mean, why like that? I mean, why? I mean, I understand they did an amazing, they made an amazing work with that. They could have made just, you know, a snake like the sea elemental, but they wanted to create something unique, and I really appreciate it. But at the end, over the battlefield, I just would like to have a unit that I can move wherever I want, when I want. Not that I have to change the mod every time that I want to go down, go up, use as a missile units, use the special ability. And yes, this unit requires a lot of management to use it correctly and to deal a great damage to the enemy. But at the end, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I don't know if I would suggest you to recruit it or not. If you have a little army and this is the centerpiece, probably yes. But if you have a very big army full of units, believe me, it would just be very, very annoying to, you know, to take care of this unit all the time. You can even just leave it. I mean, the missile attack is good, but when you play in a hard difficulty, then the enemy unit will start to target it, and it will be a little harder. In any case, I have to say that it's a resilient unit. It will not go down that easily, so still good. So probably I would say more yes than no. The Chimera is one of the units that I got most excited for when they announced it. And yeah, I mean, remember back in Age of Mythology, it's a game that probably, I mean, most of you know. The Chimera, it was the Greek version, was one of my favorite units. So I'm very happy to have got the version of Warhammer in this game. It's a flying beast with the 3 heads and one snake with another head, so basically 4. That is quite in the middle between the Manticore, because it's far better than is the upgraded version of the Manticore, definitely, and the lesser version of the Chaos Frost Dragon, even if it's better at hunting characters, cavalry, and so on. So I think that even in the late campaign, you can prefer it in some situation to the Chaos Frost Dragon. I mean, independently of the price. And yeah, they made a good job. There is the flaming breath, then the poison effect because there is the snake, the fire damage because there is the dragon face, the magical damage because there is the eagle, and the armor piercing damage because there is the boar. I don't know. I think this is my assumption. I like it. I think it's very funny to use and lovely, definitely. That's why for me a big yes. The Cursed Deathing was a bigger surprise for me. It's bigger than the Giant. I already told you in a previous video. I thought that the Giant could be, you know, the bigger version, and the Cursed Deathing the mid-tier Giant, but instead it's the contrary. It's completely the contrary, even if at the end, I mean, you use them in the same way and the price is quite the same. So we can say they are replaceable. And yeah, I mean, I like it a lot. It's a very big damage dealer with a lot of weapon strength, ammo piercing, the dual personality that I mean, at the end you don't have to worry. They will just have different stats if their health is is higher than the 50% or less. But overall, I mean, it's not different the way you're gonna use it. It's strong, of course. It's an easy target with a little armor, not compensated from the very little missile resistance, so you have to be very, very careful about this unit. But I mean, for the way you have to use it, for me it's a big yes. The rune color is the magical curse deathing version that sacrifices a little of physical capabilities to get some spells and a different dual personality. Probably it's my favorite version because I think that the spells makes the difference, even because you don't have to spend winds of magic, and this is incredible. You can save them for your spellcaster. And then, I mean, they're quite similar about the melee capability, so you know, I would still just take this because you can use it in the same way, but you have the additional spells, even if we will probably will lose the fight against the cursed, the generic cursed Athene. I like that too, and yeah, for me they are definitely very good. I would recruit a lot of them in my armies. They're very funny to watch with their animations. I mean, there is one that look a little weird, but the rest they're very good. I mean, aesthetically, I thought that they could have been far weirder. Instead, no. I mean, they made a good model. I'm happy with that. So for me, another yes to end this video.